All right. Well, welcome to our segment, which is called Caring Conversations, and that is spelled with a K for care. And my intention is to have a weekly podcast on caring conversations where we're going to be hearing the voices of women um, across the nation and beyond on how we're thinking, how we're oftentimes we can share one thing another person didn't know how to do that, and we go, oh, wow, that's a good way of doing it. So sharing, I'm also wanting to have start sort of a sponsor program that will help us keep going with the podcast and just introducing so many of my many beautiful sisters that have small businesses and products to sell and those kinds of things. So that's going to be going on the website very soon. And we're just excited about the whole process of it. We want to have more well-being house parties, and we will be partying with our mimosa and sorry, Lydia, and whoever else is there. The others have joined. We definitely will be partying after this particular segment with our sister Kay, and so we're looking forward to that. But it's just a nice way of coming together. I know each of you have other sister collectives, and maybe it's book club, maybe it's church ministry, maybe it's theater group, maybe it's glow. Uh-huh. And you're doing all these things, but it's a wonderful thing to, as much energy as you have to give to that, I say go for it. So it's okay to have two or three groups that you belong to.
Right.
And this group is about well-being. Okay, our well-being, and how do we use strategies to be able to feel good, to have longevity, and just be happy in life, and to always renew ourselves. So I'm joined here with my beautiful niece, Alexis Hill, and I've asked each of our audience members to um, write down a question or anything. Now, it doesn't mean that it's all going to fall on me for answering, right? Because we are a collective. But I'll take the question, and what I can answer, and then we may have others to kind of add to that. All right. I hope we're doing okay on there. It looks like 4 people were on, and then it was off. So I'm hoping that Aaliyah's still on. Okay, good. So that's working. All right.
Okay.
What's the first comment
question.
or question?
What are some daily sleep habits? And then how can we stop the feeling of stress about uncontrollable future things?
Okay, so that's, yeah,
So
so that's
twofold.
worse. Okay. So, sleep habits meaning, how can you improve your sleep, whoever wrote that? Okay, so improving sleep. Okay, so when you're gone, all day long, and then you're trying to just, just debrief, come down. One of the things, believe it or not, that works well, if my legs were stretched out like this and I'm laying in the bed, if you are tapping your feet, right? What happens is all of that thinking goes away because you're now feeling your feet tapping. But it's also, again, we talked about the energy points that are there. So this is a grounding exercise. It helps you to ground, and it helps you to sleep very well. Now, while you're tapping your feet like such, right? And I mean, I would continue to tap. I've done this sometime in the bed. I can remember once doing 500 taps, right? Because it does so many other things, but mainly to ground you. But while you're doing that, if you're massaging your gut area, like we talked about, that's being the seat of emotion, and you're just giving a nice massage, and then you just, like right now, ooh, I just feel really calm. Because everything just came down to the feet and relaxed. And what is this to be, have a little music on and just tapping the toes. So that's one strategy. What was the other part to that?
The other part to that was how can we stop the feeling of stress about uncontrollable future?
Yeah, that we're always worrying. And when you worry, the thing hasn't even happened yet. You give a power to it by worrying.
Yes.
So one of the things is to observe yourself worrying, right? So it's almost like you say, Dang, Miranda, you just like going on and on and on with that. I see you, I hear you, but I'm ready to calm it down. I'm ready to go ahead and tone that down. And so here's where the breath really works. That 5 breath, inhaling, and then letting it go. You do that 2 or 3 times, you're at least for the next few moments not going to be thinking about all these other things. It's a beautiful way just to kind of let it go. But a lot of the times we need to observe what we're doing in order to address it and not go with it. It's almost like I say to myself, mind, you're not me, you're mine. Mind, you're not me, you're mine. You're mine to serve me as far as the things that I need. Body, you're not me, I love you, but you're mine, right? And so, and that gets into, well, who's talking, right? And that's really coming to really understand our two selves, our true nature. What goes on after the body and the mind die, right? If you don't have the spirit within you, you're not alive. Okay, so that's who's talking. So have those conversations with self. And I love what someone said that they do their affirmations. And so part of your affirmations can be that, mind, I love you, but you're not me. Body, I love you, but you're not me. You're mine. And then give it, which means those worries are unimportant because they haven't happened. And I'll stay in the present through my breath. Right. Okay.
I just add to that, change environment as well. You know, if you find something in the environment, like I can't do the news. I'm ashamed.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people are having to stay away from the news these
Tears
days.
in the news this
Yeah.
week twice. I was like, no, because it came accidentally. For
Right.
changing your environment, but I also bought this oil burner, and just the smell of it brings me to a space. It's like climbing the lounger, put the feet on the sides or on the back, and it just brings me centers. So,
And laugh at yourself. I smile a lot, and people go, "Do you really smile that much?" And imagine yourself. What's the difference between this?
Creating problem lines.
Tension.
Right,
Tension.
right. It's tension. You're resisting anything that's going to come through you, rather than this. Yeah.
People wonder why
Right.
you're smiling.
So as simple as a smile. As simple as a smile. Okay.
Next one.
Mhm.
What led you to tapping and how it improved your health? And then how do you strengthen your core?
Okay, all right. Well, a lot of you who know me know that this has been my life since day one. And I mentioned this in one of the recordings, is that I started teaching jazzercise and dance and all kinds of things back in the 70s. So I've always been healthy, conscious. I became a vegetarian. I stopped eating meat and pork 1977. And so it's just been a way of life for me. But I think what brought me to tapping and more centering on the breath, more just awareness of the body and the brain, and how if I work and love that and understand how it functions, that I can function better in the process. And I came to that by joining Body and Brain. It's a method created, it's a Korean method created by, he has lots of books there that we talked about, Elchi Lee. And he teaches about the breath, the meridian points, the chakra, all the different things that we can use to take advantage of to just feel better. And so that's almost 4 years ago that I started with the tapping through that, and really realized this does. It does a whole lot for me. It activates me, because sometimes, especially as I'm getting older now, I feel them little cricks and whatever going on, and I just shake it out, tap it out, and I'm on my merry way. So, but starting young in this way, like I know we have younger ladies in here, this is like money in the bank. What you do now right?
That's right.
I'm cashing in, I'm 71 years old.
Okay, that's right.
And it's because I keep that money in the bank, so make sure you put that help in the bank.
That's right. That's well said.
Yeah.
Been cashing out, yeah.
How does one remain consistent and manage their time to exercise daily? And how to engage others in moving exercises?
Yeah. You know, when people see you looking good, see you looking with a beautiful attitude, being positive, they want to know what you're doing.
That's right.
Right? I'm trying to grow this business. This is for me, the session today that we're doing for the house party, it's really a membership drive. And what you do for membership, it allows us to come collectively to doing a whole lot of different things together. But I want to grow that. And like I said before, when I started doing that research on what was happening to us as Black women, I'm totally devoted to this and this work. I'd like to see some young people come and work with us, especially Donna and I, who's not here, and because we're just trying to leave the legacy. It's not like we're trying to push out a name or trying to do whatever like that. It's about how we can help one another. And so this is just my, cup of tea for doing that, but we do it in all different kind of ways. So was that the answer? Say it one more time.
And then, yes, and how do you stay consistent? And
Stay consistent, you have to have discipline. It's just like I'm doing this 21 day, we get up at 8:15 and I gotta say, I gotta show up. Ain't nothing gonna happen when I don't show up. So show up for yourself. And again, the reason why we're doing 15 minutes a day, because that's something you can do when you wake up in the morning. It's not gonna make you late for doing whatever you need to do. And if you're in the shower, you could be washing, but you could be tapping at the same time. So incorporate that 15 minutes, whatever that is. Make sure that that's your routine every morning. And then whatever else you do is like icing on the cake. If you're going to work, you're going to line dance, you're going to Tai Chi, you're going to yoga, wherever else you're going, that's fine. But start off loving yourself in the morning by paying yourself attention.
It gets you
Gratitude.
going. Gets you going and keeps you going all day.
Mhm.
Really
So
good.
Deb's been doing that with us. She's been on the
and
line.
maybe take a small period of time, like start out small and then work your way. And then once you start small, sometimes, you're in that habit, so you can't help but do it. You get to a point where it's in your routine, but just even taking just 5-10 minutes, start out that way.
That's right.
For yourself.
In 21 days, you can change any habit and you can add any habit.
Right.
Okay, so that's why that whole 21 days and then to be consistent, boom, 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 on that, and then it becomes yours. And then that other habit that you had, maybe this is my little sneaky habit, that cake at night, right? That goes to the wayside because I've got a new better habit.
And then, what's a natural technique to relieve headaches?
I love peppermint. My daughter taught me that. I rub a little peppermint here. We talked about lavender. Here was another thing. Also, remember what I said? Your hands are so powerful, on down to your fingertips. You rub these, you make them warm, and then you just give love. Yeah. That's cured many of a headache for me. It's just a gentle rub and touch, and breathe. Everything is breathing through it. So that's one that works for me. If you have any other ideas to share, you can.
Also lowering your stress levels can eliminate headaches if you're bottled up and tense. That
Yeah.
increases.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
And I think we did this one too, but how to calm your mind and body to rest at night.
Yeah, well, and that was just one
that's
example
one,
of what to do. There's some other ones, but try that one. And then, let me know how that works.
How often should you do the distressing exercise or exercising? How often?
What we did today, the body and movement. I'll tell you, I find something, and something new every day is nice too. But I put the music on, I'm out of the shower, and I'm moving, cause you know, dancing is healing.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
And so when you're having fun, you're dancing, you might even do a little tapping here and there, right? So you said how often?
Yes, and then does it carry you?
And I think your mom just answered that.
Mhm.
That carries you through the day, and you do it with positive attitude.
Do you do it though, once in the morning, and it does carry you through the day, like some of the exercises we do, I haven't done some of them. So I didn't know if they would carry you through the day, or do you have to do them again at some point? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, if that 15 minutes is carrying you through the day, and we don't even get, we talk a lot about what's going on in the body, right?
Yeah.
If that's carrying you through the day, then my goodness, if you did something like that, that's gonna carry you through the week. Right?
Yeah.
But no, just, and again, the simple things that you do, even around the house, if you're conscious of doing them, make that be a movement that I'm pushing. I had to pull, things in, I did the porches, and I was pulling heavy things, but I was like pulling in, I had my gut, in like this, I'm like. And then afterward, I said, "Ooh, I don't have to see my trainer today, because he would have had me out of bed." Ain't that right? We do the training.
Now, how to complete your soul?
Now, that's the question.
Mm.
What do you think about? And we can open that up for a little bit of discussion here on how to complete your soul. Is that the purpose of our lives? We talk about being spiritual beings within the human bodies, right? And so to complete your soul, at least for me, would be that we all kind of have a blueprint and a path to follow in life. And this is where the inner standing comes in, where you're spending time with yourself to allow yourself to figure that out. Because as much as we love each other, all of us are going to leave here on our own. There won't be anyone with us, right? So getting to know yourself in a very deep way is very important, and it takes years to be able to do that. But I'm coming to know my soul. I'm coming to know that, and things are so much easier. Um, I'm in Lynette's class, and she's teaching, line dance. I may not have ever seen that line dance before, but it'll take me about that long to get that dance, and that's because I'm in tune. My spirit is who's dancing. I'm just letting it go. I'm letting it be free, and I've come to know that my instincts are so much stronger. I dream. I have very vivid dreams at times where I know, I dream about a person I haven't dreamt about that person before, or something like that. So what is that telling me? You are your friend, your best friend. And so just putting that in mind, I think, is really, really important, because your best friend will tell you what your path is, and then you get on that path and you do your thing. And I feel like now at this age, I've had different phases of what my path is. I started off as this, right? A teacher and a, anti-racist activist and professor, and now I'm retired. Guess what? It's a whole new shift of life for me. But I still have purpose here. Part of my purpose is this. So whatever your purposes are, you want to have that talk with you.
I was just gonna add, I'm in a leadership course, and we're talking about a lot of different things, and emotional intelligence is one of the main factors of that course, because you really, to your point, really have to know who you are as a person in order for you to be productive or successful or whatever that means to you in this life. And I absolutely love the course, because it's all the energy that's there, and just the positive nature of it, but then also, the people that you're around. So like in this group right here, everyone has like a positive energy, some sort of amazingness about them. And I also think that, you know, being around that type of energy also influences who you are as a person. And, you know, it just brings more joy to your life. So I just wanted to kind of say, I guess, thank you for the invite. And I'm already feeling just good. I'm feeling all tingly inside. So, and I think just, you know, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to realize that now and who I am as a person. So it just means a lot to me.
Yeah. And you're so active in working with other young professional women. She has, her and Star have an organization, it's called Glow. And, they work for Microsoft. In fact, I hope to still be doing something for you all in
Yes.
August. And so, I hear you on that energy. I'm thinking about what Valerie said about what environment you choose to be is very important. So, yeah, exactly.
People bring energy. I know when I bought my new home, that was my first thing I tried at the other home, but I've grown since then. But I bought this new home 7 years ago. And I've decided who walks through that threshold. I mean, it's just important to me. Who
That's
walks,
right.
what they do when
Because they bring
things
their
that I want
energy.
a lot. So the energy. She and I had that conversation. Energy has to always be at peace because I don't know what's out there.
But even if
I have
you,
a place to come.
if you are in bad energy, that's where the breath works as well. Okay.
Yourself, right?
So what you're doing is when you're exhaling any negative energy that's around you. It's moving out away from you as you stay positive.
Right.
Yeah, I was just listening. Miranda really triggered something, and you pretty much touched on it. But I wanted to be just a bit more specific, and it was, you know, guarding and protecting it. Protecting it. I'm not saying fight, you know, as in like, you know, start a ruckus, but you, I mean, you may have to, but then the more, the more you get to know yourself, you'll understand what's the best way for me to fight in protection of, you know, your soul, your heart, your entire well-being. So, and then you touched on it as well, like being able to decide who walks in this door and this, that, and the third, but really, really just knowing, like, okay, this puts my soul, my heart, whatever, in a very vulnerable position, and I am fighting for me. You know, I'm going to protect me because, like you said, I'm the only one responsible at the end of the day. No one's gonna walk off this earth with me. I'm gonna go alone. So I have to choose, you know, how I'm going to protect it until that time comes.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add, because earlier when we were talking about at home, that person being in bed and all of that, safety is a really big deal, and it causes a lot of stress. And people don't always acknowledge that they don't feel safe. And not feeling safe is going to cause you to behave in certain ways. And so one of the things that I noticed that with women over the years is when they are getting ready to go to bed, if they live alone, they don't feel safe when they are getting ready to go to bed. If you don't feel safe in your bedroom, then what do you do to handle that? You lock the door, you have bells, you got, you know, in other words, there are things that we can do to make ourselves feel safe and sleep better. Because I think sometimes not feeling safe interferes with being able to fully relax and go to sleep.
Aaliyah, are you hearing okay? And if there's anything that you want to add to this?
No, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear us okay?
Yes. No, I was sitting, that was Dauphine that was just speaking, right?
Yes.
So I was just thinking, piggybacking off of what you were saying, and all of that is that anxiety that we face at times, all of those fears and that worry and that stress, and that has been something that I have really been working on myself this past year, because for the first time in my, and excuse me, I had a late night last night. I'm in New Orleans, so please forgive me. So anyway, I forgot what I was getting ready to say. So no, I was saying, yeah, as you can tell, I really have been working on self-care this past year. But anyway, last year, for the first time, I began to live by myself. I had lived with my parents growing up, then moved into a college dorm, then moved into a home with my spouse and lived with him for well over 30 years.
Mm.
Even when I moved out, I lived with my daughter for a while. And last year, for the first time, I lived by myself. And so those same fears and worries that Dauphine was mentioning, I had those living by myself and going to bed and locking up at night. I had never slept by myself. You know, it was a new and a different feeling, but there were a lot of fears and a lot of worries that went along with that. And so this past year, I have really been working on those anxieties and those fears and learning to be by myself and really enjoying being by myself. So now I'm here in New Orleans and I'm by myself and I'm embracing this time. I have been traveling and doing things on my own, but then I've also been meeting up with my line sisters and things like that. But I really am enjoying this place where I am right now and telling myself that I'm okay. You know, it's okay. I'm going to be okay. And if something happens, then it just was meant to happen, but that's nothing for me to worry about. And so just adding that piece.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Leah. And, Aaliyah's been, we've been traveling together just as we scope out the different, international retreats that we're doing. And so Costa Rica is coming up pretty soon. We'll get a chance to talk about that a little more once we close out. But together, just being together and talking about our anxieties and working together, even we've done tapping together. And it's kind of funny. Well, they're in Costa Rica, you know, where the waters are so pure. We talk about the blue zone, right? And people living to be 120 something years old, etc. And that's really, it's actually quite true. And so we had a chance to put all the mud on the our bodies, with all of these different ingredients to the mud was amazing, right? So you dry it out, but you move while you're drying. So we were doing our tapping and I swear I came back and I told Aaliyah, I said, well, whatever anxiety I was having, it's been gone now for like 3 weeks. You know, I'm really enjoying it. Court, were you going to say something at some point?
I'm receiving now, I'm receiving. Oh, we almost started. Back on one, no.
Before we move, it feels like a couple of thoughts are coming together. One for me is about, I don't know if I want to call it protecting, but just being aware of other people's, whatever it might be, energy experiences. And yes, it always comes in the form of energy. But I was sharing with Dafina, like the idea of, like for me, I feel really comfortable in my space, and you know, I mean, I'm sure at some point I probably have had a sense of certainly of discomfort or concern or fear or something, but in general, especially at home, I feel like so. When other people come, like, you don't leave your windows open, I'm like, yes. You didn't shut the door. No, I mean, it's so interesting. So just the notion of like how to be with other people's energy that is whatever it is. You know, if yours is what just what it feels like. So that's kind of without engaging ego or judging them, or you know, so that to me is just kind of interesting.
This makes me bring up fear because we carry fear, and I love what Ralph Smart calls fear, an acronym: false evidence appearing real. And if you remind yourself of that, okay, because fear is either it hasn't happened, right? So that's where the worrying is getting in, false evidence that's appearing real. And so how do we deal with fear, right? I did have come up in the inner city, right? But I do leave my door open at times. You probably see that a lot on the thing, and you probably worry about not. But I do that on purpose, to be able to know that this is my home, I'm protected. Ancestor spirits are with me, I love my creator. And I'm very aware
You can feel
of what is around me. And so it's those kinds of things that I tell you, you know, fear adds years on your life. I mean, really. And so what we want to do is we want to free ourselves as much as we can for fear. Use fear in the way in which it was meant to be. Okay. And, you know, to get your adrenaline going, something's happening and the fear strikes in and boom, that's the way it's supposed to be used. Not to every single day be afraid. Because we are unlimited beings, but we limit ourselves, and we're socialized to limit ourselves because they want the masses, they want us like this in the matrix.
Yeah.
Well, the more you're
Boom.
afraid, the more you can purchase.
Yes, yes.
Well, and not even knowing who you are.
Right.
It's like, you know,
Yes,
take it back, call it back, call back who you are, your power.
So on that,
Mhm. On
I
that
feel
note-
like Marsha, I feel very comfortable in my home that I'm in now, but I'm fighting my husband because he wants to put double locks on the door. I came home from New York and there's a big lock on the back door. For what? I feel safe and
Right.
comfortable. I don't want to have to look at
I'm your husband.
locks.
Lock it
and
up. I'm here.
Because I can sleep at night. I can sleep at night. I'm peaceful. I don't feel like there's bad energy around me, you know, and it's just.
But that's not,
yeah.
But you know, that, so we can talk about alone,
Right.
and also about that others, right?
Exactly.
And so when you're with others, it's, you know, we compromise to try to make things work. But find a secret way where you can have some little secret space where you know it's open and he doesn't, you know?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's lots of crazy. There's lots of.
I have an alarm on the, I have the ADT with the alarm and I can see who's out there and all kinds of things. And yes, I'm not under the illusion that, you know, when I might hear a gunshot, that's a firecracker.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do, you know, again, you're in the reality.
You're aware.
You can't live with the fear
Unless
of
you're
this
space.
Always
thing,
remain conscious,
right?
always remain conscious.
I mean, that's what I said. I feel like I don't live in fear, but I'm definitely still turning the alarm on and locking the doors. That's
I
to
think
me
we're in
just
agreement.
creating
Yeah,
a
that-
boundary and making sure that I'm at least doing the work on my end. Like I don't want to just walk around and think that, you know, if you're an easy target, then that's just what it is. I'm I don't go to bed like scared.
No.
You know what I mean? But
Well, I'll tell you, I was out there gardening one day and a woman came up, her name was Martha, and she drove up in a truck. She had to be in her mid-90s, but she driving in a truck and she goes, oh, I got a plant for you. I just came from Home Depot and I got some other plants. And so she came on, got a car. She gave me a little bush, right? And we planted it together on the corner of how I showed you this the other day, Daphne. And she said, you know what? She said, my grandmother, who was a slave, she said, you know, the women back then, it was so wise and it was so connected. And she said, that plant, they said, if you put that plant at the corner of your home, that it's a protection plant. Your ancestors are protecting you. And so now I feel invisible.
Yeah.
Because it was a little stringy, one little thing hanging over, and now it's a huge bush.
Wow.
After a year. So again, it's
Just
what we
for her to
believe,
approach
it's
you.
what
I was
vibes
just
are.
saying.
And what you mean,
And
that's
yeah,
it.
and I want
All that, right.
You don't even know.
Prayer protection. I'm in the shower, I hear sound.
Prayer
Prayer
protection.
protection.
Prayer
She jumps on the
protection.
plane, it's the prayer
Yes,
protection.
well, you know, that's.
And I took her on, she got in the school bus, it's prayer protection.
Right.
You know.
But that's how we used to do everything with prayer.
Right, and next thing you got a couple more.
We said first.
You.
Spirit first.
How do you balance showing up for your community and yourself?
Yeah, well, you know, I showed up for my community for the past, and I'm talking work related community, but then community. For the past 55 years, going back to creating the children's theatrical group in the community, one of my first actresses back there. The age of what, 12?
Yeah.
To unity through creativity, teaching community children, how to get their licenses in video and filmmaking, working for all the public YMCA, Boys Club. Once again, she was in all the dance. So I have showed up
That's
for
good.
community in so many different ways, and I continue to do so. And I think that one of the beautiful things to that is doing it for the love of doing it. You never really expect much, but then I'm looking at thousands of kids that I've taught that stay in touch. My Facebook is filled with most of my former students, graduates, whether or not they were doctoral programs or masters or elementary kids, they're there. And then when I look at my own children, you know, I say, what a blessing, because sometimes you doubt yourself. Sometimes you say, even with this, I'm like, how am I going to get this thing started? It's in my heart. I really want to focus in on women because we need it. You know, how can I really get this going? I know I'm always going to have my friends. How can I make this broader in that it joins a community of people who are doing the same things, building communities. So I'm in the process of doing that now with this. But I said the other day on the tape, I'm proud of myself, and I never said that to myself. So we have to do that to acknowledge what we bring.
And then how do you find peace within yourself? What kind of touch?
Yeah, because, you know, I'm one who has been, I'm a very reflective person, and I have those conversations with self. And even when I'm in a crisis, or even when I might be feeling some anxiety, deep within me, there's always peace going on. I feel at peace. I feel so much at peace. Now, I'm still working on feeling entirely free, this idea of freedom. And what does that mean for us? Because, and face it, the society doesn't help us to be able to really tap into that in the way that we should. So we have to tap into it ourselves. We have to help each other tap into it. But peace, I'm at peace. I float when I want.
Okay. And I've always seen a calmness about you. Even when you're upset, it's a calmness. And when you talk to me and we're sharing thoughts and, you know, things that may bother us, there's always a calmness, and it just, it helps me, you know, just having that, you having that energy of calmness.
And you give that same thing. And I'll tell you one thing that's real powerful, and people might, don't let people tell you it's foolish thing to do. When you hug someone that you care about, when you smile, when you hug, and I love hugging my sister and my sisters, and they know I'm a hugger, but you know, I even hug trees too. So. I got an ancestry tree out there that, you know, needs a hug.
But they need that love.
Really, that love what you did. So let me show you something that I love in our class. Once again, it's a Korean word, Donna. So here you go. Shu Shim. Shem. Now, what do you think going on your shoe?
Made to
Give.
you. Made to you. Give.
Something you like.
You're giving shoe Shem. Shoe Shem.
Shem sounds like,
So I'm gonna share my energy, but I'm also receiving, so it's gotta be reciprocal. So sometimes when you're in that moment with somebody and you know this is a good time to share. It's shoe Shem.
It's like namaskar.
It's not
Not
The
like
God in me,
namaste.
the God in me sees the God in
Right,
you.
yes, yes. So
Why
again,
that is-
hands opening and hands bringing back in. That's another calming, factor. All right, this is the last one?
It is, and I know we kind of talked about this, but what are, good exercises or actions we can do to stay calm and centered and peaceful with all the turmoil going on in the
In the
today's
world right now, right? And I hear you. I think we do have to limit ourselves to how much news that we're taking in. A lot of it is just to keep us distracted and away from who we are and the work we have to do. And usually as Black women, we're out in the front lines and we're, taking it all on our shoulders to make it happen. But we have to heal and be better before we're, gonna hit those front lines. But we hit the front lines in these kind of ways, and that's healing one another for, with the right kind of energy that we need. I think that's so important. Can you read the question one more time? 'Cause I don't know if I addressed, what can you do?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so go back to some of those things. Go back to your breath technique. Go back to standing erect. Don't let this world pull you down.
Come on now.
Don't do that. Stand erect. And like Daphne and I were talking about the other day, especially for some of us that are getting older, have your eyes open. Use your peripheral vision to see things. This is all it tunes you into what's going on and hear what's going out there, right? So that's another thing. Walking erect, feeling your spine move. A lot of times now we're starting to get tight in the back because we sit a lot. We do all these other things. Whenever you're stretching or doing any kind of exercise, add your breath to that. Inhale what's new and fresh to the body, but then let go of some of that pain. It's like, by pain, I'm just gonna let you go. You've been, you're there, you're letting me know I'm still alive. But I don't necessarily need you, so I'm gonna go ahead and let that go. And that's also about mental things.
And you know what, with the times we're in, it's not just what's on the TV. I had an incident recently, going to meet a dear friend, so I'm excited, I'm happy, and y'all know me, especially my daughter, when she was little, she said, "Mom, you gotta talk to all the strangers."
Yes.
Because I just talk to
You
them.
Leah talks to all the strangers
Yeah.
too.
I'm not like that. I'm just never would think to do something negative to someone, So the gentleman made a very rude comment to me as I'm coming in the restaurant. And I was so up, I was so excited, to see her and
Trying to
And
check your
I came in-
joys.
I came in the door and my friend noticed, she goes, "Where are you frowning?" Because I didn't realize it, but I was very irritated, about what he had done to me. And I uncalled for, don't know me, just rude, very rude. And so I came in the door behind her and I had this, and she's like, my friend knows me for years, and she goes, "Ever," and I was like, "I'm sorry. Something just happened." It's like I need to hug it out. And
you can brush it off. People think that's
That's what you do.
Now, when you listen to some of the old sayings, apply them.
My mother used to do that.
That was my mother's favorite thing.
Right. Mariah Carey. Come on.
We were in the 70s.
We did the 70s. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Yeah,
Shake it
yeah,
off.
recenter. And I also, I said, I had to let the waitress know I need to sit away from. I just
There you
didn't need
go.
that
You
person
didn't
in my
want-
space.
there you go.
I was like, "Which way you taking me?" I said, "I need to be." But he's still looking at me with a hatred. It just brown. That's all I did. I was just brown. That's the only
Well,
thing that caused that situation. And it's just the reality of where we are. So being centered now is so important, and it's being challenged. Our century never ourselves
It's
is
always
being
been
challenged.
challenged.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has been, but what I'm saying.
You know what they say,
Right.
you can
The
play,
orange man.
you can, when they have to play the game by themselves because you ain't giving it any energy.
That's what I was,
They
yeah.
move another way,
Mhm.
right?
There are a couple of
It ain't
things.
gonna no
One
go
is
high.
that we aren't on an island. So we're gonna come out to things. We may not be seeing the news.
Mhm.
But we're gonna be part of the news in somebody else's life.
Right, right.
And I had a really interesting experience once, and I had meditated and been on a silent the whole day before, just one day. And I prayed all that day. The next day, I went to the co-op. You know, and it's organic.
Yeah.
And this woman had her cart right where I was getting ready to get some bulk. So, and she was about 5 feet away, and I said, "Excuse me, I'm gonna move your, thing." And she cursed me out, called me an N, a C, and I looked at her and I laughed and I said, "Oh, you need love, don't you?" Shocked me. Shocked the heck out of her. Saw her again, said the same thing. And I have done this a couple of times with the N word because I recognize how much of myself. Another time I had to close that store down. But I had come
To your
to,
power back.
yes.
And then allow her. to-
So we, so there's that.
Right.
And like, really? But the other thing is that, and we learn this as children, we pass accidents, we pray.
Right.
Yeah.
We bless everyone, we bless the people who are
Yeah,
helping,
that's for sure.
we bless the people going through it.
Right.
So we're always in something, there's always an opportunity for us to just, reach up and out and not act like it's, and not take it in like it belongs to us.
Right.
So we have to recognize, we get to recognize what we attach ourselves to. Now, I'm not saying every day, but I've gotten that one down. I got the end thing down, baby, really.
This person wasn't
But there are other things that we just recognize that we get a chance to transform.
Right, and you
vibration.
gotta, and you gotta transform it because you ever ask yourself, why I got so much of an attitude today? It ain't even me. It's like somebody else's.
Transfer
Yeah.
facility, just like that movie, choose and play that game.
Honest to goodness. Well, Lynette, I'm getting ready to come up with you, so I wanna give shout out to my sisters that are here, that are so creative, because these are some of the, things I hope that will be, I hope you continue to do this, even though you're closing down the show.
Oh, yeah. I got it.
But I'd love to begin to put all of these wonderful things that my sisters who are doing small businesses have. And I love the concept of buy or barter. Because that'll keep us, no matter what kind of recession or whatever is going on, it'll keep us, quite well. Because we're looking out for each other, and we have things that we can barter, and we have things that we can buy. So, pop that fan.
Oh, Isn't that beautiful?
That is beautiful.
That's the creator over there.
That's the creator.
Very nice.
She is just incredible, with the kinds of things that she does. I'm sorry to hear. Now, are you still gonna have your, closing on the 17th where everything must go?
Yeah, well, I'm think I may do it on the 16th because I realize I'm teaching line dancing on the 17th.
Wow, we don't want to
So,
class.
It's with my neighborhood because I do that.
Oh,
But I'm still gonna do some things.
That's a Friday, right? The 16th?
Yeah. Yes.
so, because now I have everyone's email address, I'll just send the emails. I know people, y'all hate group texting, right? I mean, I don't like it either because then it goes on and on and on and on and on. But sometimes you need to have it to get the message across without having to send it to 50 people.
When you're
Just
curious.
remind them to respond only to you.
Yeah.
If you just tell them that.
Well, then that makes it mine. All right,
That's just
so,
not for me.
the feature, I asked her to bring some of her amazing, she does a number of things, but she has brought some of the different oils today, yes, because I do want to demonstrate. I mean, she's made different things for me. There's a serenity oil that when I put it on the pulse, you have some.
I want some. Remember I asked you
Oh,
about that
yeah.
when we were at the.
Oh, yes,
retreat?
I put it on you,
Yes.
right, yeah. And, so calming. So she's got, if you would come up and just share some of what you, have that, again, we have to network what we do. So if there are things, in following up as we end today, I'm gonna ask you to write down, how we can better support you, whatever you're doing. Okay? Small business gatherings, I'm always available to come out and work with other groups of people. Delphina?
So anyway, hi, everybody. My business is called I Treasure Me. And it's I Treasure Me because it's an affirmation. I was in the shower one day and I was actually taking a class in Oakland. And we were to name our business. And I was like, I treasure me. And then I thought about it. The me is capitalized. M-E, me. Because we don't. We say we do, we dress, we do all these things. But when we look up, we're not really treasuring ourselves. So I figure if I treasure me, I can treasure you. You can treasure her. She can treasure. So it's a movement that starts in product. And choose which one you want. I just,
I'm in the pink right now.
Okay, I wonder. This is a inhaler. This is the kind that you don't put in your nose. I have the kind over there that you put in your nose. And I did it specifically for allergies. So this is with lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And what had happened is a friend of my son's came over and she was sneezing, coughing, and all that kind of stuff. The dog, the cat, everything. And I was just in the room, just doing my thing. And I said, girl, you could give that girl something. Go make her something really quick. And I did. And within 10 minutes, she stopped.
Wow.
Okay. Now, heal yourself. I said, wait a minute. I'm like sneezing 20 times, right? I said, well, let me go make what I made her. And I stopped. And it was just so wonderful.
I love what she did by way of even putting it in the container, but.
Yeah, and I make those, I have the beautiful ones, and then the ones that go in your nose that aren't so beautiful, but oh my God, they are so effective. And as soon as I start sneezing, get ready to, and it's gone. Because I utilize the essential oils scientifically. I'm actually studying to be a certified aromatherapist, and intuitively. So I've been doing this for years. I started doing it with my patients. Excuse me, Susan. And this was my first one. This actually started with me. I lost my second son. Today would be his birthday. And serene spirit, I named them things I need. And I noticed my patients needed it too. So I'm just, if you have allergies, this isn't gonna really affect you. It's just gonna really make you feel comfortable. Oh, you relax.
I think I sprayed some of that and I'll have to do that.
So anyway, so this is one of the sprays that I have. And you can pass this back, you can spray it, whatever. So that one is how I say it. You can spray it in your hair, you can spray it in the air. I don't care. You can spray it at any time. But the thing is, it is a spray. So if you're doing something and you want to have the medicinal energy that goes straight into your bloodstream, then the roll-on, these are testers. The roll-on, this is the roll-on for serene spirit. So I named them all for, I named them all out of spirit. So I have Peaceful Awakenings, 9/11, I named that. because I was awakened very violently, like many other people were, about, 3,000 people being killed. And so I said, how do we wake up peacefully? Hey, Aaliyah, I don't want to ignore you, sweetheart. How do we wake up peacefully? So I put together that has peppermint, rosemary, it has juniper, and something else, orange. So then I have one that's called Vital Thoughts. One of the things that we talk about, what messes us up a lot is we take in all the thoughts. Our mind is going to take in a lot because we're just like that, but we have to know what not to take in. I had a patient, well, she didn't want acupuncture or herbs, she wanted aromatherapy. So, and she was a very, very depressed woman. She bipolar, she had a lot of stuff going on, taking care of her parents and all of this. She was a non-melanite, and so she had another energy over that, because of the way that she dealt with things. So I did some research, sat with spirit, sat with her spirit, and came up with Vital Thoughts, which I first did it with fennel, but I changed it to holy basil. It lifts you from the bottom up. Because sometimes we just need an upliftment, but sometimes we need to be like pulled up. And then I always ask other people what they experience, because we are all individuals and we're all going to experience something on our own. So I say all that. I Treasure Me is about self-love. It's about every time that you mention the business, you're saying an affirmation. You're speaking word into light. You're speaking about your spirit. I also am doing a lot of work around this. My son was recently shot 4 times, and he was wheelchaired. He's come a long way. One of the things I want to work with are people who go through trauma. I've had a lot of trauma, so I lost 2 children, 2 babies, and my son almost. And so I feel like Spirit gave me a vibration to help others who are going through things, because you don't know what people are going through. You look at them and they're smiling, they have a good time, but inside, they may not be registering everything. So I make things to help bring that up and to open conversation. How can you treasure yourself? What can we do for each other? How do I go through this hell and still find heaven inside of it? And I appreciate you, because you were sending me prayer at 4:00 in the morning, but she was a dog. But at that time, I was getting up every hour, every 2 hours to turn my son. And at that time, he couldn't turn. Now, honey, that man is on his own. He's rolling like a macaroni and butter. And I just want to say that when we do this, we take in all of ourselves. It's all part of the breath. I treasure me. Treasures you.
Davina has set up a table there. We're gonna have lunch next and play a little game during lunch. And so while all of that is happening, stop and check out some of that. I mean, I've been using your things for years.
Yeah.
And so I swear by it. I know too, you got turned on.
Yeah.
So last but not least, so again, like I said, before you leave on one of those sheets of paper, I really want you to write down not only your experience today, but also if there's some way that we can support you in whatever it is that you want to do. I want to know what that is, because we continue to do that. And then my DC is actually looking for a tech. I put I don't know, China, you may have read it because I saw you kind of reading all the different things. So we had a little job thing there, because we do need some assistance technology wise for some of the things going on. So I want to share with you, as you can see, I've turned the house now into this little mini gallery. For which a lot of these, I was blessed to sell 4 paintings, before moving out of the studio in February.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and, one of the things that I realized, oh, once you sell that painting is gone to whoever owns it. So how can I keep it alive? Then I decided to take paintings and put them on t-shirts.
Yeah.
So that's part of my product. So for instance, for the, we did a retreat to South Africa, last October. And so this is a painting that's hanging in the bathroom. And it symbolizes the big 5 of South Africa, along with the zebra is used as a print, but you can also see yoga happening in there as well. It's my interpretation. But I think, the group of women that went on that trip, we wore these shirts together, and we're pretty proud of
We
what
got a
we
lot
had.
of compliments about the shirt.
Certainly did. Certainly did. So now for these shirts, and I just thank those who have supported me on this, because I know you see this up down.
Oh, yeah.
I still have shirts left. These shirts are like $35 each. But I want you to just quickly explain these, ladies. This is my trinity from Yoruba culture. They are feminine deities, and this is Oya. And Oya is the fire. Oya doesn't play. And when I think of Oya and wanting to have strength in the core, this is where she lives in me, right there. Okay. And so that's Oya. And you know, in Yoruba culture, there are over 400 different deities, and all of them acknowledge the elements in the world, right? It's a beautiful thing that this one I love. My sister bought this painting, my sister Trudy. And I only have 5 of these left.
Oh, no,
I made
Antoinette.
I mean,
Okay,
sorry,
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 yeah.
Antoinette. I got you on my mind, Trudy.
That's okay. 'Cause I have oil.
Trudy, which one? I gave you Oya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for her birthday. This is Oshun. Have you ever heard some songs and poetry about Oshun? 'Cause she's so sweet, because she's love. She's about love, but she's also a river goddess. And she's the daughter of the all-powerful. I'll show you Yemaya in a minute. But this is her doing her thing. She shares a lot of love, and so she comes from the heart, right? Because the heart represents love, it represents green.
This bought the
That one I
perfect
bought from
painting
you.
then.
You remember Candy?
You bought
This is
Oya.
mine. But my cousin.
Oh, did you buy
bought
this
one.
one?
I think that's the one I got.
Okay,
She-
so these
she
went
knew
really
about that one.
fast.
That
She
was
knew
the
about them.
perfect.
That's funny, I
painting
made a
for
lot of
Sis.
these and then, huh?
That was the perfect painting for Sis, because that's what she represents.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was.
So she said she has it on her wall, she's so
She does,
proud of
I
it, she
saw,
took a
yeah.
picture. And I'm always elated that people would even think about it, like, oh, person. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right, yes, who's singing it?
I said, Sue Maria.
Yay, Maya,
Yeah.
oh, she moves with the
Yeah.
water, she's
Ooh,
like
I got
ocean,
chills.
she is woo, call on Yay Maya when you need her, but she helps to keep a cool head. She's in the
She's the
head,
mother.
she's cool, she's the mother of all, look at all the fish around her, right? She's the mother of ocean, to be honest with you, you know, as we share about, these deities and their lives, you know, when you hear about the Greek and all of their different, Thor and all these, and Thor was wrong with, whoever, whatever. The same
Sword,
story
Shango.
about- Like, oh, Shango. he
Shango
really-
is sword.
he's a man, he's fire.
Yeah.
So Oya has been using that as well. So I want you to know that these are also on sale. I'll fold them up as well. And I know you must be getting hungry. We're ready to go ahead and lay out the food. And I know Courtney.
I'm just helping you keep.
She had to keep it, because we were already behind. We'll
Yeah.
probably be like one.
I just want, before we got up, Lynette to mention what else she offers, the thing and what else.
Lynette.
Oh,
Yeah, she
okay.
gets you.
So basically, my store is called Blank Delicious. And I'm actually closing it down next week because the owners want to rent to someone else. But Blank Delicious, I'm a crafter. Anything, everything crafty. So because I did so many things, I never really niched down, so I decided to sell the crafting products. Like blank items, hence blank delicious, blank t-shirts, blank tumblers, blank hookahs, blank beach bags, beach mats. I also do custom items as well. Fan is just one. I do t-shirts like that. I do dog tags. I don't have my purse here. Um, I do. You can think of it, and I'll let you know if I can make it. That's basically where I am. When people ask me, "Can you do this?" I do paper mache. I sew. I will fix your car. I took 2 years auto mechanics, and I. I laid your floor. I laid the floor in my family room. I paint. I told my husband, if you don't get nobody to fix that hole because we had water damage, and I'm gonna get up there and fix it myself. So they told me to stay off the ladder. I bet.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of a catch-all. And since I'm closing next week, I still have my website up. I still would be doing. I teach line dance. I went to the senior center that asked about crafting, and I ended up teaching line dance.
Wow. Center y'all go to?
In Smyrna,
Oh.
Freeman Pool, in Smyrna.
Freeman.
And so
Freeman.
Freeman Pool and South Church or whatever.
So,
And so as I'm closing down, I will be doing more line dancing on the side, and I will still do the crafting stuff on the side and customs. And I love the idea of barter. Because I've actually was talking to a few people of yard guys. I need yard work done. Don't y'all need some stuff on y'all's vehicles?
You'll mow your lawn right here.
I only do mine.
My lawn went in there, but I was doing. But yeah,
And where's the
So
physical
this-
space that you, I'm sorry.
it's in Mapleton.
Oh.
It's
And
in
so
Mapleton.
on the 16th, so I'll email, now that I have a
I'll
list
send
of
you
everybody's
information.
email, I'll email, Lynette's information, also, to find out where we can get, because you have your own site, but I also, again, want to create a page on the website where we're doing a lot of networking,
that'd be cool.
because now we're worrying about, can we get this, all these tariffs and this and that.
Mhm.
We got stuff that we can,
Yeah.
they're talking about a baby's, stroller is gonna be thousands of dollars now.
Make your own.
But make your own, well, listen, we want other babies to be able to say, let's barter,
Pass that
let's
down,
pass that
right,
around.
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
So the last thing that I wanna mention, and then let's go ahead and have some lunch and I'll set up the game stuff that we're gonna play. I wanna mention the Pura Vida, girls trip, and that's what's gonna be a girls trip. It's gonna be 4 days, 5 nights, and we've got some plans, and we're actually staying in a palace. And so it's Malinche Palace, right, Aaliyah? Is that the name of it?
Yep, that's it.
What's it called?
Malinche Palace.
Malinche.
Looks over the ocean.
Oh,
Wow.
okay.
There's a couple of pictures in there, you can't even see it too well, but it's gonna be limited because we're not going to, I think what's our limit? Did we say 16?
Yeah, 16 is the max.
Is the max. So, $1,500, you have to do your own, flight, but you get to save up. The trip is not until October. And, the one thing is though, by June 1st, $250 deposit is gonna be due, because we gotta get that to the house,
Right.
okay? But if you are at all interested, and we'll work with you on how you can, I'd rather, you wanna be with a group that you're gonna gel with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just ask her, she give me 250 for Mother's Day.
Question. Have
Yeah.
you looked into any airfare yet? You get any idea what the airfare would be?
Yes,
Oh.
so the airfare was, before you shut her off, Aaliyah, what did we say, 750 from Atlanta, round trip?
Yeah, it was running around 705, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Where you flying?
Where are you flying to?
We're flying right straight to nonstop to Costa Rica. It took 4.5
Yeah,
hours.
but
Okay,
what,
what
From
airport?
Atlanta
Is it
to,
San Jose?
no, not San Jose. We're gonna be in Liberia, going to Liberia airport.
Liberia Airport, okay, good.
All right, this concludes our Karen. So what do you think? Can
Let's
this
say
be a
goodbye to
weekly,
Natalie.
can this be a weekly thing with, different, speakers coming in and so on and so, okay. All right, so we think it's gonna be a go, Aaliyah, for our caring conversations. So we're gonna.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have her working on finding me, podcast stuff. So. All right. Loving you. Give us She's like, auntie, you always pulling me in. You already on. Give it around. Courtney celebrates because she goes, yeah, well, Lexus will do it.
My girl.
All right, so we're
Bye,
gonna
Leah.
stop all the lunch, and then do we have a game for you? Some couple of you know what we get ready to do. Am I tripping?
Oh, okay.
Oh, am I tripping?